Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed.
Hear me?
Greetings and salutations. You're listening to the Tales of Music and Film podcast. My name is Christian Taylor, and I'll be your host for today. And like I always say, I personally want to thank you for clicking on today's episode. I finally found some time in my very busy schedule to record another episode for you guys, so this is going to be really cool. Today we are going to be talking about a brand new movie that is currently still making its way through the theater network as we speak. This movie has been in theaters for about a month now, and we are going to be talking about the movie Obsession. Now, this is a horror movie that I just got to go and see this in theaters just this past weekend at the Mattoon VIP theater that used to be the AMC theater. And guys, this movie was absolutely insane, and I have so much to talk about about my experience watching it and everything. But before we get there, I figured I'd take a minute to let you guys know on what's been going on in my life, if you're interested. If you're not interested, go ahead and skip ahead. But anyway, I have just been working a lot. I took some work at a summer school in a town nearby. I've been working my job at Walmart pushing carts, and I've been working my third job cleaning dishes at a restaurant that I work at, just trying to make some extra money. I've just been paying off my college loans and everything. I got my car fixed. There was a small problem with it. I had to get new windshield wipers for it as well. I got those paid off, excuse me. Been buying tickets for some events coming up. Just a few days ago, I bought tickets for a Ozzy Osbourne tribute band show playing in a town called Berlin. This coming June 26th. So very excited for that. I recently just bought myself a ticket to attend the St. Louis Horror Con in July. Me and my buddy Billy are going to be going to that. Very, very excited for that. I recently had my friend Dana. She is really good with making clothing and stuff and blankets and that sort of thing. I had her, I had a spare Indiana Jones shirt. So for any of you guys who don't know, I'm a Indiana Jones cosplayer, and I have a full screen accurate Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade outfit that I put together last year. I did a recording not too long ago documenting my process of putting that outfit together. If you guys want to go and listen to that recording. But, yeah, I have a full version of the third movie's outfit put together, and recently I've been changing it up a little bit. I've been getting costume pieces for the first movie, and recently I had my friend Dana do a little work for me, so I had a spare Indiana Jones shirt. And I had her give the shirt a Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom style. So what she did was she took the right sleeve off of it, gave it the 3 slashes in the back, and now it looks like how it did during the later stages of Temple of Doom. And I'm going to be doing a Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom cosplay for the St. Louis Horror Con. So that outfit will be making its debut at that convention. I cannot wait to wear that. I am so happy. Like, Dana did an amazing job making that shirt as cool as it is. Like, it was perfect. Like, I told her what I was looking for, and she got it perfectly. So, yeah, got that stuff going on. I am going on a big trip this December. Me and my family are going to Orlando, Florida, to Disneyland. And I can't believe we're doing that. I am still in awe that we're going to be getting to do that. That's going to be a lot of fun. This will be the new record for me of farthest away from home. As of right now, the farthest that I've left Illinois is Texas. That's as far as I've gone in the U.S. is Austin, Texas. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on. And lastly, I am planning on very soon on buying tickets for there is a Scream movie event happening in Bloomington at their Center for Performing Arts in October. Because the first Scream movie is 30 years old this year, so I've noticed a lot of conventions and stuff. They're having like a lot of Scream actors on their guest list to celebrate the 30th anniversary. And at Bloomington, at the Performing Arts Center, they're going to be screening the first Scream movie. And David Arquette, the actor who played one of the main characters, Dewey, he makes an appearance in Screams 1 through 5. He will be there to do like a Q&A session after the film is finished screening, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, I am planning on it. Me and my friend Billy are planning on attending that as well. So yeah, I have a lot of cool stuff to be looking forward to. So yeah, just a little update on what I've been up to. Just trying to go to as much stuff as possible. I did sign up for a few jobs in my college degree field. I found a really good job. A friend of mine sent me a job link for a job position up in Springfield, and then trying to think, I signed up for another job in Peoria. So I'm still trying to find work, trying to find work in my college degree field. So I'm signing up. So I'm just waiting to hear back to see if I struck any luck with those two jobs. So that's really all I've been doing recently. Pop culture wise, I did recently start watching the James Bond movies. So last year, my mother gifted me a Blu-ray pack with all the James Bond movies. So I've been watching all of them. I've watched all 5 of the Daniel Craig films, and I've watched all 4 of the Pierce Brosnan ones. And as of right now, I've watched the first 5 movies with Sean Connery. I just finished You Only Live Twice yesterday. Now, today I'm planning on watching Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then the next movie, Diamonds Are Forever. So, going to be watching those next, and then I'll be moving on to the Roger Moore era. So, yep, that's all I've been up to. So, now that we've finished talking about that, we are going to be talking about the movie Obsession. Now, this movie is extremely... guys, I gotta be honest, this is one of the greatest horror movies I've seen in a long time, because, I gotta be honest, guys, I really thought the horror genre was starting to really die out. It just, for years, I just thought, that we were never going to see, a brand new, original idea, because I've noticed, for the last, decade almost, Hollywood's been bringing back a lot of dead franchises, like Halloween was brought back, Alien's been brought back. Let's see, they did that new I Know What You Did last summer. They keep bringing back franchise. Scream's been revived. It's not a bad thing, but I was just really hoping that we would sometime get a brand new, movie that it's brand new. It's not connected to anything, I never thought that we would ever see anything like that again. I really thought that Hollywood had run out of ideas, but luckily, I was proved wrong, big time. Obsession, I originally wasn't going to go see it, but it's just this movie literally took over the internet. It's all over the place. Every time I got on YouTube or Google, I just kept seeing article after article, video after video, just everybody talking about how good this was. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to regret not seeing this. So, I worked my full shift at Walmart this past Sunday, 7 hours of pushing carts, in the heat. I was exhausted, but I still made, the hour drive, to Mattoon to see the movie. I was exhausted, but I'm I can't miss this. So I drove up there, and I watched the movie, and I don't know how else to describe it other than saying it was one of the most uncomfortable movie experiences of my life. it was just 2 straight hours of me, grinding my teeth. Like, I was uncomfortable the entire time. It's just like, I had my sun hat with me that I wear, and I'm like, I was literally covering my face during certain scenes. Like, there were so many scenes where I'm just like, can we cut to the next scene, please? It's just, I never been that uncomfortable. Like, I remember when I went to go see the movie Send Help, that Sam Raimi horror film that came out earlier this year. That movie had some pretty uncomfortable parts in it. I didn't think it was possible for that to be topped, but here we are. So, the movie was directed by Curry Barker. The movie was released on May 15th of 2026, so it's been in theaters for pretty much almost a month, and the movie's budget was only $750,000, but this movie has already made millions. Like, it's a huge success. Like, I really do believe that low-budget horror films might be starting to make a comeback, and I think YouTube is playing a big part in this, because you had Markiplier, the famous YouTuber. He did a film recently called Iron Lung, and I heard that did extremely well. And then now you have this movie, and now there's Back Rooms. I've heard that's been making tremendous progress as well. So this year, like, man, low budget filmmaking, it's been making a comeback, and I'm very happy to see that, because I've talked about this multiple times. It's just like Hollywood's really dropped the ball, I think, for the last like decade. They seem to have this idea. It's like, hey, let's have these insane budgets with all these effects, and everything. It's like, you guys are not making your money back. Like, the way the movie's budgets are now, the movie would have to do extremely well just to break even. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm really happy to see that, low-budget horror films are kind of getting a revival, and I hope it continues. So obviously this movie has a very, and I mean a very hard R rating. I don't think the R rating was enough. I think this movie needed an M rating for mature audiences. Because, guys, there is truly some very, very messed up stuff in this. Now, before I go any further, so I am going to be going into detail talking about some of the extremely horrible things that go down in this. So for all you, like, younger viewers, if there's any of you like under the age of 18 listening to this, I would recommend that you stop here, because I'm going to be talking about some very bad stuff here. So I'm going to be going into detail talking about it, so just be warned. This film is graphic, and I mean extremely, extremely graphic. So listen at your own risk, okay? So here we go. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to read off our 4 main actors in this movie. So up first, we have N. Navarrete is her name. And let's see, coming up next in our cast list, we have, let's see here, we have Michael Johnston, Megan Lawless, and Cooper Tomlinson. So the 4 main actors in this movie, it's a friend group. There's 4 of them, and it seems that all 4 of them work at this like music shop where they from what I could tell, it looks like the 4 of them fix up equipment like guitars, and stuff like that. And our main character, Michael Johnston, he plays the character of Bear, and In plays Nikki Freeman. Let's see, Megan Lawless plays Sarah, and Cooper plays Ian. Now, the movie opens up with Bear and Ian at a restaurant, and you find out Bear is extremely in love with Nikki. The 2 of them are basically their childhood friends, and apparently Bear moved. So I don't think we ever learn like what town the movie takes place in. But we find out that Bear moved there when he was a kid, and Nikki was like one of the first friends he made when he moved over there. And she became very important, in his life, and they basically grew up together. And then he made friends, with Sarah and Ian, and the four of them work together, and then they hang out, they go out and drink together. These guys they're all like, I know, I don't know, from what I understand, I think they're all like college ages. They all look like they're in their like early 20s, like maybe like 21, 22 years of age, like college student age, I believe. And Bear is with Ian at a restaurant, and he's like giving Ian a practice run of him confessing his love to Nikki. What's funny is Ian's sitting at the counter to the side, and Bear has convinced a waitress, like, hey, could you like sit here for a moment so I can practice giving this speech? And it goes. Ian thinks that Bear did a terrible job, and that the waitress is like, oh no, I thought it was great. And then Bear's just like completely, embarrassed and cringing at himself. Like, you find out throughout this movie, like, Bear seems to be going through some like very bad like psychological stuff. Like, he has like no self-esteem whatsoever, and he always looks miserable all the time. He doesn't look really happy, and it's like when you see him, it's like he's living in his apartment all by himself, and his apartment's like kind of messy, and stuff. Like, he's not a very like organized individual. You can see his life is kind of a mess. And after the restaurant scene, like, he comes home after that cringy, monologue he did, and then he finds his pet cat dead on the floor. And apparently his cat had gotten into his medication cabinet, and the cat ate a bunch of pills of something, and apparently the cat ate a bunch of painkillers, and it killed the cat. And that just completely destroyed him. I guess that cat was supposed to be like his emotional support animal or something, and then, he has like a full mental breakdown, and then he just wants to be by himself. But then Nikki convinces him, Nikki calls him later on after this, and she convinces him to meet up with her and the others at a bar to play some trivia games together, because Nikki reveals to Bear that she put in her 2 weeks at the band shop. She's ready to leave and go do something else. You find out apparently she's working on a book that she's been wanting to do. Like, she's ready for a life change, and Bear doesn't want her to leave. So she convinces him to meet up at the restaurant and hang out. And Bear's thinking that now's the time, to tell her how I feel. And he goes to like this like spirit shop to buy her something. He was originally going to get her like this rock that like symbolizes like good fortune and wisdom or something, but then he decides to get something else instead. And this is like one of the first like signs, I think, in showing what a selfish person Bear is, and we'll get to that. So he ends up buying this red box that he sees. He notices a shelf with these little red boxes. It says "Make a Wish," and he flips the box over, and on the instructions it says that these are a one and done thing. You buy this wish. There is a device inside of it that you crack when you make the wish, and once you do it, you can't make another one. It's a one and done. So he buys this, planning on gifting it to her. He goes to the restaurant with them, and they hang out, have their drinks and everything, and he looks absolutely miserable. And then the friend Sarah, Bear and Sarah go over to the bar and they talk, and Bear reveals to Sarah that his cat died, and then Sarah gives him a hug, and everything. And you find out throughout the movie that Sarah has a huge crush, on Bear, and you find out throughout the film that she's always liked him, and he completely was oblivious to it. And and I'm sure most of us viewers were like, why didn't you just go after her? Why did it have to be Nikki? And we'll get more into that here in a minute. But then, once the scene's over with, everybody's kind of drunk, except Bear. He didn't really drink. And he volunteers, to take Nikki home. And when he pulls up to her house, he tries to muster up the courage to tell her his true feelings. She even gets out of the car, and before she leaves, she tells him, hey, if you like me, now's the time to say it. And he still could not muster up the courage to say what he wanted to say, and she leaves. He gets all angry, and then he pulls out the box, with the magic, wish device in it. Pulls the thing out of the box, says, and he says the following: I want Nikki to love me more than anybody in the world, and cracks it. And I guess he kind of did it in like a jokingly thing, but then he turns around and he sees Nikki standing on the porch, like stiff as a board, and he's like, what the heck? What's going on? And then she walks, back down, to the car, and she's like acting all weird. Like she's not acting herself, and then she starts saying, these things like, hey, do you want to come in and hang out for a little bit? And Bear's completely like freaked out at this point. She's like, my cat died, and Bear's like, what, you lost your cat? And she's like, wait, no. I mean, you lost your cat. Like she's like, acting all weird, saying all these things, and the Bear's like, Nikki, are you drunk? And she's like, oh no, I'm fine. And then there's this weird little moment. So if you guys pay attention to the dialogue throughout the movie, so basically like what's going on is Nikki's basically kind of possessed. The wish has taken her over, and it's making her, making her obey the wish, basically. Like, she's not acting herself. This is a different version, Nikki, that's now completely obsessed with Bear because of that wish that he made. So, she gets back, in the car, and then she's like, oh, I found out that my dad's dying of cancer. I don't want to be alone. Then Bear's like, okay, and then, he takes her back to his apartment, and then, he's like, oh, do you want to sleep on the couch or something? She immediately goes straight for the bed, and I'm not kidding you, she literally strips down to her, basically her undergarments, lays in the bed, and then she's like, do you want to lay here with me? And then Bear's like, oh, absolutely. And it's just like, this was the moment, right? So he knows that she's not acting herself, right? And then he just goes along. Like, it's just like, here's one of the first times that Bear, takes advantage of Nikki. It's like, I did not like Bear. From this moment forward, I'm like, dude, you're a horrible person. And it gets worse. So he lays in bed, she kisses him, or whatever, and he's like, oh, hefty whoop-de-doo about it. He knows that something is wrong, but then he just blindly goes along with it. I'm just like, dude, shame on you. You are a horrible human being. And if you think that's bad, oh boy, we are just getting started, folks. Then later on in the movie, he talks to his friend Ian, and he's concerned, like, she's not acting herself. She's getting, like, stalker, ish. She won't leave my apartment. I don't know what's going on with her. And he tells Ian about, she told me that her dad's dying of cancer, and she didn't want to be alone or whatever. And then it's like, and then after this, he takes her out on a date, and everything's going right. It's all cutesy, schmootsy, But then we get one of our first, like, real creepy, scenes in this, where this is, like, definitely the first warning sign that something's wrong. So before the dinner scene, we actually find out Ian calls Bear during the date, and Ian tells him, it's like, Bear, Nikki's dad does not have cancer. The dude's healthy as ever. He's A-okay, you know, and there's something else I need to tell you. You're not going to like this, but literally just a few days ago, Nikki had a talk with Sarah, and they were talking about you, and Nikki said she always saw you more as a brother figure to her and not a lover. So, there is our first sign, like, Nikki had any romantic feelings toward Bear. It was more of a brother-sister, you know, thing going on. So, yeah, there's that. And then, he walks back to the booth, and he kind of confronts her about it a little bit, you know, and then he's like, Nikki, do you really love me? And then she looks at him with that smile of hers. She's like, oh yeah, I do. More than anything in the world, you know, and then he confronts her. He goes, Nikki, does your dad really have cancer? And then we get this real creepy scene where, she gets up, she starts like, no, don't do that, I thought we were having a nice day, you know, just screaming, freaking out. The bear's like, no, Bear's like, no, we are, it's fine, you know, and calms her down and sits her back at the booth, and it's like, okay, dude, you have now had 2 big moments where, clearly she's not okay. She needs help. But he still blindly goes along with this. Oh yeah, by the way, before this, remember how he brought her back to his apartment? Guess what happens when he wakes up in the next morning? He wakes up and she's like, I'm sorry for how I was last night. I hope I didn't scare you. And Bear's like, oh, no, you were fine. He turns around and the entire apartment door is covered in duct tape. She tried to seal the room up so that he couldn't leave. And it's like, and he's like, oh, no, it's fine. That's totally normal. Nothing to be concerned about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you deserve whatever is about to happen to you. This guy has now had like 3 huge red flags that something is wrong. But he blindly goes along with it, continues to take advantage. And after the dinner scene, we get, this is, in my opinion, one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in a movie. After the date, they get in the car, and then Nikki says to him, like, do you want to go have some fun with me back at your apartment? And he's like, well, if it's okay with you, it's okay with me. And it cuts to them lovemaking. That's all I'm going to say. And you see everything. And guys, I'm not kidding you. This was the first movie where I walked out of the theater. I was ill. I did not feel good. I felt like throwing up. That lovemaking scene, I had to close my eyes. I couldn't look at it. It was so bad. Like, I have no words to describe it. It's like, this was the point of no return for me. It's like, Bear, you are now a predator. You are a horrible person. You are a demon. Love, there is no compassion in you whatsoever. You know there's something wrong with Nikki. We even get a scene before this where he realizes that the wish actually worked. He knows that this is not the real Nikki, and that the only reason she's acting like this is because of that wish that he made. And he still chooses to go along with it. And it's just, this was the point of no return for me. It's like, Bear is the villain of this movie. I'm sure some people are going to disagree with me on that, but I truly believe that Bear is a villain. Like, guys, I wanted to teleport myself into this movie and beat this man. I wanted to beat the snot out of him. It's like, you are a terrible person. Like, Nikki clearly needs help, and you blindly you took advantage of her 3 times now at this point, and just you should be ashamed of yourself, you disgusting human being. You know, like, after this, there was no redemption for him at all, as far as I'm concerned. That was awful. I can't say it enough, guys. Physically ill. My stomach did not feel well. I ate at a Freddy's restaurant before I went into the theater to see this movie, and I was very close to vomiting it all out. Like, this movie was disgusting to see. That could take the award for the most disturbing lovemaking scene in the history of cinema. Like, oh my god. I had never been so uncomfortable in my entire life. And, oh, we get another disturbing scene after this where Nikki makes Bear lunch, and he's hanging out with Sarah at the band shop, and they're fixing up some gear. They're on break, and then Sarah reveals to Bear that she's been trying to apply for a university, and she got her final letter, and she hasn't opened it yet, and she says, hey, we should meet up later, and I'll open it, and we'll find out together whether or not if I got into college. And Bear's eating the sandwich, right, and then he finds a couple of Polaroids that possessed Nikki took of him while he was sleeping. It's like, oh, that's completely normal, nothing to fear. And then he finds a sticky note underneath the lid of the container the sandwich was in, and I think it said something, this cat caught your tongue or something. And it was like a riddle. And then Bear realizes Nikki cooked his dead cat into a sandwich, and he ate it. Like, oh my god. What? Oh my god. And he throws it up. And guys, I gotta tell you, I want to throw up now just talking about it. I have never gotten so close to throwing up in my entire life. After this scene, it's like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to eat hamburgers ever again for like a month. Oh my god. That, like, oh. Holy cow, that was bad. Hoo-wee. So yeah, we get that, and then literally, as we get into the film, so basically Nikki gets more and more unstable the further we get into this movie. And then, you know, I'm trying to think. So, she starts to get more and more obsessive. There's literally a scene in this movie where we start to get into some, like, body horror stuff. Bear comes home to his apartment, and he finds Nikki in a bath towel, and her skin is starting to melt off. Like, she took a shower and, like, set the heat to, like, the hottest it could go, and, like, her skin was literally damaged, and she looked awful. So Bear's freaking out, trying to help her or whatever. She's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'll go take another shower. And before this scene, we get this scene where his friend Ian rightfully calls him out on what's been going on, and Ian's like, okay, Bear, you are taking advantage of Nikki, okay? Sarah and I have been talking about her, and we know something's wrong, but you are taking full advantage of her. And Bear's like, oh no, I'm not. You're being too sensitive. You're like, and Ian's like, oh yeah? You don't think it's weird how she's been acting these last few weeks? He's like, oh no, she's fine. And then Ian's like, okay, I'll tell you what. If you can go convince me, I want you to come to the hangout, but guess what? It's guys only. She can't come. I think if she can go at least a few hours without seeing you, fine. I'll believe you. So he comes back to the apartment, finds Nikki all burnt up. She goes back into the bathroom to go take another shower. And then, Bear's, like, trying to tell her, like, hey, so, Ian has asked me to a party. Nikki's like, oh, can I go too? And he's like, oh, no, it's guys only. And then Nikki's like, what did you say? And she starts banging the door over and over and over again. What did you say? Or something like that. And then Barry's like, okay, I'm sorry. You can go. And they shut to the party. Ian's like, really, dude? I told you it's guys only. And Bear's like, well, Sarah's here too. And he's like, well, she didn't do anything wrong, like Nikki has. And we get this scene where the four friends are playing a trivia game. And this is where basically all hell breaks loose. Where Nikki really, the unstableness goes from 10 to 100 pretty darn quick, alright? So she gets they have to take turns with poems or something, and then Nikki's like, oh, I got a poem for you guys. She stands up, and this poem that she reads, it was one of the most uncomfortable long takes in my life. It's just a pan of her reading this off. I mean, keep in mind, she's in the middle of a room with 30 people in it, and she gives this long monologue basically about a brother and a sister having an incest relationship. And if there was ever a scene I wanted to unhear, this would be it. It was bad. Guys, it's just one of those scenes, you have to go listen to it for yourself to understand. That was, one of the most cringiest monologues I've ever heard in my life, where she's going into detail about an incest relationship. Oh boy. Ain't this just a nice little poem that I can't wait to forget about? Oh my god. And then, they get back to playing their game, and then Bear draws a card, and it says that he has to kiss the person to his left, and guess who's sitting to his left? Sarah. And then Nikki gets up, and she has this very messed up frown on her face. Now, I have to give a big round of applause to the actress who played Nikki. She was amazing in this. Everybody on the internet has been praising her, time and time again. Her acting range, she gave everything she had to this role, and my god, does it show. I mean, it's just, her performance in this was amazing. And she's only 25 years old, and I think this is going to be her breakthrough role, 100%. And the way she can do these facial expressions in this, there are so many scenes in this where she makes these uncanny valley expressions. She is very, how do you say it, animative with her face. She kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey, where she just does these smirks and stuff that are just uncanny. It's how do you do that? The most legendary one, I think, is in this scene where she gives, this really messed up, smirk at Sarah. And then it cuts to her running behind Sarah, pulling her chair backwards, and then pulls a chair next to Bear and sits down. And then, and then later on, Nikki has this giant mental breakdown, and then we get another scene where the real Nikki tries to break free of this curse, and she starts yelling, it's not me, I'm sorry. And then she smashes a glass on the table, and then she proceeds to stab herself in the face with it twice. And then everybody's freaking out, and then Bear just grabs Nikki, and then they leave the apartment or whatever, and then I believe not long after this, we get another scene where Nikki's asleep in Bear's bed, and then Bear's trying to figure out what to do, and then we get another creepy scene where the real Nikki is talking to Bear while the obsessed Nikki is sleeping, and she's telling him, it's me, I'm so sorry for what I've done, please kill me, I can't do this anymore. It's the real Nikki has been trapped in her body this whole time, and she has seen and felt everything that has happened to her, and she can't do anything, and she's begging Bear to kill her. It's like, dude, there is no words to describe just how just insane this is. And then Bear, instead of doing the right thing, he's like, well, what's so bad about being with me? It's all about... He only thinks about himself the entire time. It's like, the guy had multiple chances to do the right thing and realize, okay, something is wrong. I know the wish is playing a role in this, but he chooses to go along with it. He chooses his own selfish desires instead of doing the right thing. This poor girl is begging him to put her out of her misery, and the only thing he's concerned about is, well, what's so bad about dating me, huh? It's like, dude, you piece of crap. Whatever happens to you, I have no sympathy for you on what's going to happen to you. And then he finally has the grand old idea of, oh, maybe there is something wrong here. Maybe I should investigate this. Like, doy. Oh, gee, you think there's something going wrong, Bear? Oh my gosh. Who would have thought? Oh, yeah, Bear. I think there's something wrong here. So he finally opens up his laptop and starts researching this wish thing, and then he goes back to the shop. He gets the idea. It's like, oh, I have an idea. I'll have my friend Ian do a wish for me to undo the wish I did, because he buys one and tries to make another wish, but he can't break the thing because it's a one and done. Each person's only allowed to make a wish once, and that's it. So then he gets the idea, okay, I gotta go to Ian. I gotta explain to him, like, what's going on, you know, and then, and before this scene, Bear learns, Sarah tells him that some other information that he didn't know about. So apparently Nikki was having on and off relationships with Ian. They were dating behind his back, and he didn't know that either. And so the other friends think that Nikki is doing this, hanging out with Bear to get back at Ian. And you know, and then so Ian was dating her and he didn't know it. So yeah, Ian wasn't really a good friend either, but anyway, so we get that. Bear goes to Ian's apartment, you know, and by the way, Bear never changed his clothes. He's still covered in blood. Oh wait, I forgot, guys. So I almost forgot. Before this, while Nikki is sleeping in Bear's apartment, he sneaks out to meet up with Sarah in her car. And this is where I think she tells him about this information that Nikki and Ian were having a relationship behind his back. And they're sitting in the car. It's nighttime. They're parked behind the building where they work at the music shop. And she's like, here's my final college letter, and I thought we could open it together. And then she kind of starts to confess that, you know, that she's loved him this whole time. She's like, remember, I'm the girl on your left. And then, I'm not kidding you, it cuts to Nikki breaking the window, grabs Sarah by the head, and literally bashes her entire head against the steering wheel over and over again until her head literally blows apart. Like, her face gets broken, she literally gets her brains bashed in on the steering wheel, and then Bear is basically covered in Sarah's blood, and then Nikki's like, I'm so sorry, honey, you did wish for this. She walks over, opens the door, pulls him out, gives him a hug. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that, I'm so sorry. And then it cuts to them carrying Sarah's body into a back room in the music shop. And then Nikki's like, why don't you go home, dear? I'll take care of this. And then Bear goes back to his car, and then opens up the letter, and then it's revealed that Sarah was accepted into the university that she was applying for. And then we get a scene of Bear having a full mental breakdown. He literally screams at the top of his lungs. I mean, blood girdling, just lets it all out. And then this is where he finally decides to look into the wishes. It's like, I can't believe that it took him witnessing his friend, being brutally murdered in front of him to be like, okay, now there's definitely something wrong. Oh, those other red flags that we witnessed earlier, oh no, those are fine. I had to watch my friend get her head bashed in and be like, okay, maybe I should look into this. And then he researches the wishes, finds them at the shop, and the guy explains to him that he has two options. Either he can have a friend try to undo the wish, or he has to die. The guy who owns the shop tells him the only way to break that wish is for the person who makes it to die, and then the person will be let go of the wish. So he goes to Ian, right? And he's still covered. Keep in mind, Barry's still wearing the clothes he wore the previous night, and he's covered in Sarah's blood. Walks in. He's basically acting like a crazy person. He's trying to explain to Ian how the wish works, whatever. And Ian, as we all probably would feel in this scene, that Bear has completely lost his mind. And then Ian is like, I wish for $1 billion, and breaks it. And then it starts raining, bills of money in his apartment. And then Bear screams no and falls down to his knees, and he's like, that was his last option. Now he doesn't know what to do. He runs back to the apartment, and then we see that Nikki has hit a new level of, obsessiveness. She took footage of him sleeping, and it's playing on the TV, and she made, these messed up shrines of him all over the apartment, and Sarah's dead body is sitting in a chair in his kitchen, and Sarah is now, covered in scratches, I think. She's wearing a dress, and her face is still sliced up from that party or whatever. And she's, like, oh, hi, honey, how are you? Walking towards them on this very creepy walk. And she starts attacking him. She's like, where were you? And then they get into a fight, a confrontation or whatever, and he's trying to convince her, hey, Nikki, listen to me. I need you to do something. I need you to make a wish, and then obviously she won't do it, and then she tackles them on the couch, and she starts, we get, I think, one of the most cringiest scenes in the whole film where she screams, why don't you love me? It's just the way she sounds possessed. Like, her voice is literally breaking. Then we get another scene of, real Nikki trying to break free, and she's, yelling, stop, stop, she's trying to tell possessed her to stop. We get these little snippets. If you pay attention throughout the film, we get these little snippets of real Nikki trying to break free, but she can't do it. I remember way back when he first makes the wish, and she walks up to the car when she's talking to him, there's a split second where she's like, what the hell? And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm acting so weird. Then it cuts back to possessed. So if you pay attention to the dialogue, there are several scenes in this where the real Nikki is trying to break free, but the possession gets her. And then she tackles him. So we cut back to we're at the final scenes of the film where she tackles him on the bed, pulls a gun out, and then she proceeds to projectile vomit all over him because she hasn't been eating the last few weeks, because this poor girl, the only thing she thinks about is him. She's not drinking anything. She's not eating anything. She lives and breathes for him only because of the wish. And then he's like, I love you, and then she's like, oh, good. And he's like, could I go to the bathroom right quick? And he takes the gun and he locks himself in the bathroom, and she's banging on the door, trying to get in, and then he realizes the only thing that he can do now at this point. Oh, by the way, before this, his friend Ian opens the door of the apartment, and he's like, dude, the wish, it really works. And then Nikki pulls that gun out and shoots Ian in the head. And so now we have 2 dead bodies in the apartment, and then Bear locks himself in the bathroom, and he realizes the only thing he can do now is kill himself. He sticks the gun in his mouth, and he can't bring himself to pull the trigger, and then he proceeds to, he's like, oh, I can't use the gun, what can I do? And then he proceeds to swallow his entire, thing of painkillers. But then he has second thoughts. He tries to puke him out, but then he gets possessed, opens the door, and starts to hug Nikki and kiss her. Then the camera pans down to the desk. Possessed Nikki used one of the wish things that he bought to make a wish to have him fall in love with her now. So for a few minutes, Bear got to know the pain that Nikki has been dealing with for the last couple weeks or something. They start making out, and then Bear falls to the ground with foam coming out of his mouth because the painkillers are killing him. And then he dies. And then possessed Nikki starts screaming, "What, honey, what did you do? What did you do?" And he dies. Possessed Nikki grabs the gun. She gets ready to pull the trigger, but then real Nikki comes back. And she's in pure shock, drops the gun, starts freaking out. She's like, and then she looks around and she sees her 3 friends are now dead on the floor. And she starts screaming and yelling at the top of her lungs, like, what did you do? Oh my god! Just freaking out. And the movie just ends. We get the credits start rolling on the TV. There's no music. It's just 3 full minutes of Nikki literally having a full mental breakdown of her screaming, crying, and that's the end of the movie. And when the credits were rolling, I immediately got up, grabbed my stuff, and left the theater. I was speechless. I have never left a movie in my life just feeling physically ill, physically sick, physically ashamed. This movie made me feel bad for being a guy. It's just oh my gosh. Man, I just... Oh my gosh. If there was ever a movie that showed you what toxic masculinity looks like, this is it. Oh my god. This movie made me feel bad for being a guy. Oh my god. Ooh. I was at a loss for words. And it's the ending is more messed up when you realize that, Nikki is screwed. I mean, she killed 2 innocent people. It's she's covered in their blood. I mean, she's going to be arrested. She'll probably be sentenced to life in prison, or she's probably most likely going to end up being sent to a mental institution for the rest of her life. And, it's so horrible. This movie was, I just don't know how else to say it other than it was the most uncomfortable, one of the most insane, one of the most grotesque horror films I've ever seen in my entire life. I know everybody was saying how uncomfortable it was, but no amount of comments that I read could have prepared me for this, I just could not believe it. I mean, it's just, my gosh. And I will say, it's I have to say that I think the main villain in this movie was 100% Bear. I mean, this guy took advantage of his friend, who clearly was not in a good state of mind, and took advantage of her to get what he wanted, he had multiple chances all throughout this movie to do the right thing, and he chose not to. Like, the guy became a full-on predator by the halfway point in the movie. He was a horrible, horrible human being, and it's like, Sarah's like, I don't want Nikki to. I'm tired of Nikki taking advantage of you. It's like, Sarah, this guy is. It's the opposite. This guy is taking advantage of her. You're in love with a literal, predator. It's like, Sarah, go find. You deserve better than this scumbag. Bear is a horrible human being, and he deserved what happened to him by the end of this. I mean, all this, in my opinion, was his fault. This was his doing. His own selfish desires. Like, guys, this movie has a lot of good life lessons in this. Like, main one, sometimes things aren't meant to work out. It's like, sometimes you may have a crush on a woman, but it's not meant to be. Like, the whole time I'm watching this movie, I was thinking of that quote from Spider-Man 2. Sometimes, to do what's right, we have to be steady and give up the thing that we want the most, even our dreams. Sometimes some things aren't meant to work out. If she doesn't like you back, then that's just the way it is. Move on, like, it's not a big deal. If she doesn't like you in that way, she can still be your friend. Like, in my opinion, Bear is the obsessed one. Like, we get this scene towards the beginning of the film where he's laying in bed scrolling through Nikki's Facebook page. It's like, is that not creepy enough? Like, that is straight up stalker territory. It's like Bear was obsessed with her. Like, there is a big difference. Another thing that I like about this film, it shows the distinct difference between obsession and love. They are two very distinct differences between obsession and love. Like, what Bear wanted, that was not love. That was straight on obsession. And that is not a good, healthy thing. That is terrible. Bad, bad, bad. And, like, this guy, had a very bad life. He seriously needed some psychological help, that's for sure. He wasn't, in my opinion, he was not in a good state of mind. But yeah, Nikki was meant to be a friend, like a sister figure to him, not a lover. Sarah was the one he should have went after, and had he had done that, everything would have been fine, But by the time he realized that Sarah liked him, it was too late. Nikki was at the point of no return, But yeah, in my personal opinion, I mean, I've seen some people try to defend Bear, and for me it's like, no, there is no defending this guy. He is a horrible human being who got all three of his friends killed over his selfish desire. It's like, another thing this film does is shows you your actions have consequences. Think things through before you do it. That's a good thing to, to keep in mind as you live through your life. Don't be selfish. Do the right thing and let things go. Some things were not meant to be, okay? But that's really all I can really say. But guys, this movie, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend go seeing it, but only for ages 18 or up. Guys, this movie is extremely messed up, so for anybody under the age of 18, don't go and see this, because this movie is really messed up. You need to be 18 years of age or older. This film has that R rating, for a reason. There are a lot of uncomfortable scenes in this, like really, really bad. So just be careful when watching this, okay? Like, it's a hard watch. It's a really, really hard watch. And I will say, 100%, I will not be watching this movie again. This movie is a one and done for me. I will never watch this again. Like, I'm done. Like, I cannot bring myself to watch this again. Like, this was one of the hardest films I've ever had to sit through. This movie felt like it was 3 hours long, and not, like, this movie is an hour and 54 minutes. This movie felt like it was 3 hours, because there are so many scenes in this where, like, the scenes just drag on to the point where you're like, okay, can we cut to the next scene, please? But man, I have to give a round of applause to the actors and the team. Like, this movie was amazing. It was great. Like congratulations to everybody involved in this. Like, you guys made a fantastic picture. I'm glad to see it's making millions of dollars. Everybody involved in making this, they brought their A game. It is a great picture, and I'm glad I went to go see it. I'll never forget it. I added, so another thing that I do, I have a thumbtack board where I put all my movie tickets onto, like my receipts, and I added my Obsession ticket to my board, so be a nice little addition to my collection. So, yeah, I think that's about going to wrap it up for me covering the Obsession movie. I hope you guys really enjoyed this recording. I had a lot of fun getting to talk about this. I am trying to put together some future episodes here real soon. I'm planning on having a few more episodes for season 12 involving some guests. I am trying to get together an interview with my friend Angel and her little her little brother for a potential episode where the three of us are going to be talking about. We're going to do this really cool thing. So my friend Angel and her little brother Zane, they're big fans of Superman like me, and all three of us are fans of Smallville. And I had this really cool idea where I thought we could do this thing where we compare how Smallville portrays Clark versus how Clark is portrayed in the 2013 Man of Steel movie, because all three of us have like the same agreement that Man of Steel did a very bad job in portraying Clark Kent and Superman. We wanted to talk about how well Smallville portrayed him versus how Man of Steel did it wrong. I'm planning on doing that episode sometime soon. I'm very excited for it, and I'm also trying to see if I can get a few more interviews in as well, try to get more guests on. But yeah, I have a long list of topics I can't wait to discuss with you guys, so there's a lot of good stuff underway. And I do apologize for this, like, unplanned, like, my schedule, as I always say, it's very chaotic, and trying to plan on when I'm going to do an episode next, it's just really hard to do, you know, because I work all the time. But, you know, today I was in a really good mood, and I really wanted to do another recording, so I guess it's just going to come down to whether or not if I'm in the mood, or if I have the time, but I have a long list of things I can't wait to discuss with you. A lot of good episodes are going to be on the way, so Season 12 is going to be a lot of fun. So, yep, stay tuned for all the cool stuff that's going to be underway here shortly, but I just want to say, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Keep living life to the fullest. And remember, positive thinking. Work hard. Remember, life does not owe you a thing. You need to go out there and earn it yourself. You know, do honest work. Help others. Treat others with respect. You know, and help each other out. It's the best thing we can do. You know, we're all humans on this beautiful island in the universe called Earth. We got to help each other out. We need more love in this world, now more than ever. So, yep, just keep living life to the fullest, and keep taking opportunities. That's another thing I like to always say. So, yep, stay safe, and have fun out there, guys. It's summertime, so enjoy your summer, and I will see you all next time. So until then, my name is Christian Taylor, and you are listening to the Tales of Music and Film.